We're a minute late. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties on our side. Not the fault of Mr. Professional Will Johnson at United America First. Welcome back, Will.
Yep. Yeah, not my fault this time.
No, sir. All right
It's
here.
okay.
All right here.
It's all good. It's all good.
We got so much to talk about. Let's start with what really got us both very angry yesterday when we did your show. Looking at what these people that hate this country were doing in
Mm,
Washington, D.C. Unbelievable. And it actually started. I went back and did a photo search. It started on July 4th. So the birthday of America is celebrated on July 4th. It's a very patriotic day. There's parades everywhere and people are flying the flag and so on. And starting in Philadelphia, the Palestinian Coalition celebrated 4th of July with chants in the street of the empire will fall, long live the Intifada. And what did they do? They did this. They started burning American flags and then dancing around the burning flags as if it was Christmas time. And honestly, that was nothing compared to yesterday, which was astounding. We've all seen the videos. I've got a lot of questions for you, a lot of questions. I don't even know where to start, but I do want to add one thing, that it wasn't just hate on America, it was hate on Israel. So they were also burning Israeli flags as well. And they were calling America an imperialist country where, quote, the U.S. seeks to shove its red, white, and blue stars and stripes down the throat of every U.S. citizen. Can we do a GoFundMe to send these people somewhere else where they'll be happier? Because they clearly hate this country. They clearly hate it here, country or not. And then yesterday, they were burning flags all over the Capitol and
yep.
defacing public monuments.
Yep.
And there is some good news. A bunch of Republicans went out last night at sunset and raised the American flag and saluted it with police protection. But to be very, 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 very clear, the police never stopped anything yesterday.
No, they didn't. They put up these barricades before all this took place, and the barricades really didn't do much of anything. And I got to thinking, Barry, Mike Johnson could have called in the National Guard before it all took place to protect and to prevent these people from being destructive and destroying property and defacing property, burning the American flag. But he didn't do that. And I was wondering, why wouldn't he call him in? Because, Nancy Pelosi had the opportunity to call in the National Guard for a particular day. We won't have to get into that, but I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. But he didn't call in the National Guard either. But again, like I just mentioned, I got to thinking about it, Barry. Is it possible that Mike Johnson didn't call in just so that the world could see exactly how hateful these people are? Because if they would have prevented it, now look, if they would have prevented it, we would have never seen the images that we saw coming out of DC. They're actually taking down the American flag, bringing it down the pole, putting it on the ground and burning it. And then they raise another flag that doesn't even represent the United States of America. Most of the time that happens, that means that land has been conquered when that happens.
It's as
And the
simple
police
as
officers,
you fly the flag. You fly the flag.
Yeah.
That's your land.
Yes, that's what it means. And, when I was younger, we used to play these games, right? Capture the flag, right? Your flag would be here, and you play the game, and you go and you try to capture the other team's flag, and you put your flag instead. The first one that would to do that wins the game. But in the real world, of course, it's not just a game. This game of life, they're taking it down, burning the American flag. And I think I mentioned to you, Barry, they're not doing this because of free speech. They're not doing this because they're peacefully protesting. This is not a peaceful protest, and they're not burning the American flag because of free speech. They're burning the American flag because they hate this country. They hate what it represents.
Oh, wait a
American
minute.
flag
It's no
represents
longer a
freedom for
secret.
everybody.
They're not disguising it, Will.
No,
I'm reading all these quotes. Down with imperialism, down with capitalism, down with the American way. We will restructure this place. The American empire will end. I mean, it is pure anarchy. Anarchy.
yeah,
And in any
yeah.
other country where they did this, the way they would be treated, my goodness gracious. By the way, in regards to what you said, the Capitol Police came out with a statement last night, and they said not a single flag was taken down or desecrated within the area patrolled by the Capitol Police. Where the flags were being burned yesterday, taken down.
That was that was at the Union Station.
Right.
Union Station, right.
And the Capitol Police said they have no jurisdiction there. That's DC Police. And of course,
Oh,
the
so
mayor,
Mayor Bowser?
Mayor
Bowser didn't do her job?
That's correct.
Oh, interesting. Well, Mayor Bowser, she hates Israel too. She's a total commie herself. Can I say that?
Oh, yeah.
Is it okay for me to say that?
Yeah, she says it. Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't hide it, right?
No question.
Her, along with Kamala Harris, they reject Israel, just like Kamala Harris didn't show up to meet Benjamin Netanyahu at the airport, and she didn't show up with a Congress, joint Congress coming together listening to Bibi.
We're going to talk about it. As you know, President Biden has withdrawn from the 2024 election. He didn't step down as president. What he did was he stepped down as the candidate of the Democrat Party. There was overwhelming, it had hit 70% of American registered voters wanted him to step down, which was like, I'm talking about not run again. Overwhelming Democrats and almost every Republican, because they didn't think he could make it to the end of this term, let alone 4 more years. I think the last couple things that pushed everybody over the edge with him was the following. He made a statement about a week ago that we didn't get a chance to discuss. He was in Pennsylvania campaigning because that's a big swing state. And he said, quote, even when I was running for Senate, each time I ran, quite frankly, not a joke, Philadelphia in particular got me over the line. That is one of the dumbest things he's ever said. Here's why. When you run for Senate, the only people that can vote are the people that live in your state. And he's not and was not the senator from Philadelphia, which is Pennsylvania. He was a senator from Delaware, but he didn't know what state he was in. He said Philadelphia got him over the line each time he ran for Senate. They never voted for him because they couldn't.
No.
And there was like polite, embarrassed applause. Like, somebody tell him he was the senator from Delaware, not Pennsylvania. So
they didn't tell him in his earpiece.
I guess it wasn't on the prompter, and that's what happened. And so right after that, the Joe Biden getting on Air Force One video started circulating heavily again. Two iconic images. He can't walk upstairs and he can't talk at a debate. And finally, when the donors pulled out, that was it. So here's my question for you. Karine Jean-Pierre was making speech after speech in the White House press room declaring he runs circles around all of us. He has unlimited energy. He's sharp as a tack.
He
And
gets up early.
What's that?
He gets up early.
Right. 10:45. Everybody, right up till the time he quit, was lying. When I say everybody, everybody. So what happened? He went from 4 more years, sharp as a tack, boundless energy, run circles around all of us, to he's yesterday news, he's out. What do you think put him over the edge? I'll give you some choices. Was it they finally admitted internally that he was senile, that he had some sort of onset of Alzheimer's? Was it poor health? The rumors are rampant about how bad his health is. Or was it the polls saying he was going to get wiped out big and down ballot was going to get wiped out? What pushed it over?
3. I think did I give you the analogy of the football game?
No.
Basketball. Okay, let's pretend we have a football team, not football, but football.
Got it.
There's a difference. And we get into the fourth quarter, Barry. Our team is not winning. We have our quarterback, and the quarterback is not doing good. Now, we have a secondary quarterback, but we have a suspicion that the secondary quarterback is not going to do good either. But we need the quarterback to step down because we're going in the fourth quarter. We're down. We're not, it's not looking good. We're not going to win this game with the team that we came to the ball game with. So we want to switch out the players, not the players that are on the active team that's playing on the field. We need to bring in a new team. Now we can bring the secondary and have the secondary quarterback. We'll bring that person to the top of the ticket, to be the main quarterback, but we need another secondary quarterback to play because we're not doing really good in this game. They're wanting to change out their players in the fourth quarter. That's exactly what this is. We don't like the way the direction of the game is going. We want to change out the players. That's exactly what it is. I know it's like a cheap analogy, but that's it 100%. The poll numbers are not looking good for Joe. And after the debate, his poll numbers went down even more. And after all of the dirt that they've done to President Trump poll numbers keep going up. It's like, that's not how it's supposed to work here. That's not how it's supposed to happen. President Trump is supposed to go down the poll numbers. Joe Biden's supposed to go up, even though he's looked like he's at weekend at Biden's or Bernie's, whatever you want to look at it.
I think I agree with you. Nobody cared within the DNC or even the White House staff that he was incapable of functioning as president. What happened was the polls were so overwhelming, as you and I have discussed, there was an avalanche coming in the Electoral College.
Yep.
And the Senate would have been gone, the House would have been gone, and the White House would have been gone. 4 years of a Republican administration in all 3 departments.
And if I can add this too, Barry, remember right before the announcement, you had big donors, and there was one super PAC that was holding back $94 million to the campaign. $94 million. These donors told Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, you either get Joe to step down in the fourth quarter in this game that we are losing, or we're going to hold back our funds. We're going to hold back the money. So ultimately what it comes down to, they listen to those with the money in their hand. They can care less about the constituents. They can care less about the country. It's about money and power. If you want to retain this, You're going to have to get Joe Biden to step down, because Joe, just a week before that, Joe Biden said he's going all the way. He's not stepping down. He's not going to drop out. I'm in this fight to the end. Remember, he kept saying it.
Yep. In it
All
to
of
win.
a sudden.
Yep. You're right. When it became unwinnable, that's when they cared all of a sudden. The fact that he couldn't even think, talk, walk, or speak in public, that didn't matter.
No.
Because he wasn't making the decisions anyway. And maybe one of these days we'll find out whether it was Hunter or Jill. God knows who else.
Exactly.
You know, a week after the assassination, I'd say in the first week, everybody was condemning it. But some weird stuff has been coming out, especially since the convention finished. There are people saying, not a joke, that the assassination was staged, that Trump wasn't shot, that nobody died, or that it was put together intentionally to make people feel sorry for Trump so he would win the presidency, as if they could fake a shot like that, which is really stupid. But what really concerns me is statements like this. This is a moron that runs a yoga studio who says, damn if he didn't die. And then in regards to Corey Comparatore, the firefighter who dove on top of his wife and daughter.
Wow.
At least one supporter died. I'll take what I can get. My heart goes out to the family of the shooter. Know that he died doing what needed to be done. Hopefully, someone will accomplish the task before we vote. This is an American person in America. So much hate.
And isn't it interesting how the FBI didn't go pick her up?
Sorry?
Isn't it interesting how the FBI didn't go pick her up? I'm pretty sure they didn't go pick her up. They probably didn't even question her.
She left that post up. Unbelievable, isn't it? There's
absolutely. What was it on? What platform was that on?
X, I believe.
Was it on X?
I think so.
Huh.
And that was her promotion page for her yoga studio. And you know, I can imagine, and I don't know this to be true, that there's still a bunch of ladies that still go in there because they think she's so great. And well, she's got extreme political views, but you know what? It's a free country until you call for someone's assassination.
Yeah.
Can't yell fire.
Free speech then.
No, it's like yelling fire in a movie theater. You've crossed the line. And you know what, Will? I hope you're right. I hope somebody goes and pays her a visit. And all the other lunatics posting something similar. It's disgusting. I watched a talk show yesterday, and they were talking about Bidenomics. And the Democrat on the show was bragging about how great businesses were doing coast to coast. So I did some research, and here's something that Kamala Harris is going to have to explain, as this is how great the economy is doing under Bidenomics, which she brags about. And she says, I was a big part of it. Check it out. I don't know how many thousands and thousands of jobs those stores represent, plus the inconvenience to consumers and the billions in stockholder value wiped out because the economy is crashing. Do people get it, do you think?
I think the people that are directly affected by this, they get it. But of course, the left, they don't get it. The people that are living in these liberal utopias, gated fences, that's making all of the decisions for the rest of us, they're not experiencing any of this. And the main reason because they have people go out and get food for them, go out and get whatever it is they want for them. I mean, it happens. I
Probably
mean, look at,
true.
especially when you have a refrigerator that's $11,000 refrigerator. I mean,
Oh,
seriously,
like
11,
Nancy.
right? You know,
Yeah.
she should never go into a grocery store. Someone is going to do that for her, so she'll never experience it. But even before now, there have been business after business that have been closing as a result of Bidenomics because of what Joe Biden and the Democrats have done to the businesses in this nation. They have, it's almost like on the outside looking in, like they have a complete agenda to destroy all of the small mom and pop shops throughout the entire country and only have the big box stores open. The ones that are complying with their whole DEI policies, the one that's pushing this whole, agenda of wokeism, et cetera, et cetera. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a CVS in California, or was it California? Or maybe it was in Detroit. I can't remember exactly. Don't hold me to it. But they were getting ready to shut down. And the city was going to sue the business for shutting. I think it was California. They had to move out because of the crime. They kept getting robbed. They kept losing merchandise. And they said, we have to move out. We can't sustain this any longer. We're losing money. The whole point of a business is to make money. Well, then the city turned around and said, well, we're going to sue you because you're moving your business out and it's racist. But you're not
Of course it is.
bringing cops in here to make sure that my business is protected, my employees are protected, so we can offer a service to the people in the community. You're allowing us to get robbed. That's beside the point. You move out, we sue you because you're racist. You're not allowing people to have a place to come and rob you. Essentially, is what they're saying. Barry, what is happening to our world? I think you and I've discussed this before. Our society is collapsing. This is not real. Again, here we are writing a script for all of this craziness, and we're like, we'll just put it in the script that hey, you get your business, you get robbed. Now these businesses are closing because people don't have money to go inside of these businesses and shop. People used to luxury shopping. Well, I don't really need it, but they would go in and spend money because this is things that I want. People can't spend money on things that they want. And now President Trump comes back into office. These businesses, they're going to begin to flourish. Why? Because all of the people that are here that shouldn't be here, you got to say bye-bye. Bye-bye now. And all the people that are here, they're going to have jobs to go back to. And the jobs, they're going to have livable wages. And for some reason, which we already know the reason, the left, they don't want you to have a livable wage. They want you to depend on the government.
Well said. Because you ain't going to work at these CVS stores that are closing. You ain't going to Foot Locker.
No.
Plus dollar store. I mean, there's thousands of stores closing. Thousands.
And if you do go to work, you might get robbed while the store's getting robbed.
Exactly.
I mean, and
as long as you're carrying less than $1,000 in California, they can't even call the police. Part of the get out the vote the Democrats are proposing now, they're selling it very, very hard in the last week. Absentee voting, ballot harvesting, that's where somebody drives around and collects a whole bunch of ballots and brings them to a drop-off place. Ballot drop-off boxes, ID requirements deminimized or waived. I wanted to show you, how out of touch we are as a country with the rest of the world.
Before
Because
you,
people say, sorry.
I'm sorry, before you show it, is this like an image? Because you remember one time you showed an image that was 100% factual, talking about this topic that we're talking about. They end up taking the video down.
This one is not a video. This is a still picture. I think we'll be
Well,
okay.
it was just a picture. They took the whole stream down. Remember?
Yeah, I
You
did.
actually put factual info. I think it was out of Arizona, where they were. I'm trying to talk around it here. You were talking about in Arizona. I think it was Arizona, but you were talking about how they were getting certain people to vote.
Right.
and
This is a little bit different.
okay.
This has been verified. It's factual. I want you to see what the rest of the world does. France banned mail-in voting 50 years ago. Mexico banned it almost 40 years ago due to fraud. Belgium banned it 2018 due to fraud. Sweden does not permit it. Italy does not permit it. Ukraine does not permit it. Russia does not permit it. Japan does not permit it. No Middle Eastern country permits mail-in voting. No Latin American country allows mail-in voting. Why are we, as leader of the free world, doing something that the rest of the world thinks leads to fraud? What do you think, Will?
See, this is like a setup question here. We know why they're doing it. Why would there was just a bill here recently where the Republicans in the House, they actually passed it to where they were saying that only certain people can participate in our elections. Only certain people. Who are these people? People that are American citizens. And we had overwhelmingly the Democrats said, no. How dare you? You're doing voter suppression now. For who? And of course, the left, they always play the color game. Black people. You're preventing black people from voting. I'm like, really? Where are these black people that's been prevented from voting? You don't ever see videos of black people, Barry, saying, yeah, I waited 3 hours in line to vote, and they told me that I cannot vote because of my color. No one says that. There's not a single person out there saying that, and they know it. But they go out there and they keep repeating that same lie, and simple-minded, impressionable people absorb that, and they just run with it, saying, "Oh yeah, they're blocking black people, voter oppression." But in actuality, they're talking about preventing people that are not American citizens from voting. But the Democrats, they leave out the key details every time. We know why they're doing it, because they're not looking pretty. We're in the fourth quarter, Barry. We are in the fourth quarter. If we can't win, we need to we need to put points on the board. We need to put points on the scoreboard. We're down by 150 right now. And we're in football. You can each touchdown is only 7 points, but they're down 150. But we've got to do something.
Yes, we do. Maybe we could be like all these other countries that we look down on, that they have no voter fraud. Just a suggestion. What do I know?
Yeah.
So I find it amazing. One of the comments that circulated, especially on MSNBC after the convention, where Trump appeared looking like this. This is actually an exact replica. You notice the bandage on his right ear, the white bandage.
Did you add that to it?
It was a birthday present.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember.
People were
You didn't
saying,
share any of your cake with me.
That's right. People were saying that the bandage was embarrassing, that it looked ridiculous. And those people that were saying that were of the other political party. And I came across a picture that I wanted to show you that seemed to be on point. Now, if this doesn't look ridiculous, these are two top executives in the Biden administration, both men. They're men dressing as women. And I find it offensive that this is not ridiculous, but the president of the United States, trying to be the president of the United States again, looks ridiculous with a bandage on his ear where his top of his ear got shot off. So a couple of questions. First, who looks ridiculous to you, Will Johnson? And question number two, Kamala is way to the left of Biden politically.
Oh my goodness.
Is the DEI stuff going to get worse? Should she be elected president and Trump lose? I mean, this is the way it is now.
This, yeah, Barry. I mean, we could have showed different images other than these, but yeah, this is highly disturbing. A bandage on his ear is more repulsive to the left than the image with these two grown men. Two grown men pretending to be something else. We're playing into their insanity, like they're completely gone mentally. The brain cavity is rotten to the core. For them to believe that, oh my goodness, President Trump has a bandage on his ear. Oh my goodness, look how terrible it is. But they show that.
But actually, the word they used was ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Well, I would say one thing that was a little ridiculous pertaining to the bandage on the ear. That was at the RNC when quite a few people was at the RNC and they had the bandage on their ear. I don't understand that. I wouldn't have done it, but that's a little much. I mean, I get why they did it, but it's a little much. I mean, it's not necessary. I wanted to say, please take it off because you're just. I mean, but anyways. Where's it at? Wait, hold on. I don't have it going. But anyway, I got a button that says, but anyways, Joe Biden. So they believe that they have morals when they're targeting children, that the way they're targeting them, when they're saying a man can put on a dress and become a woman and even get pregnant. They're the ones that say that they understand reality and we don't. We're not going along with reality according to them. And what it basically comes down to, we're not going along with their individual sickness. I mean, it is straight up sickness. And again, like I mentioned a minute ago, multiple times before, something's wrong with our society. There's something truly wrong in society where reality is getting flipped upside down, and then they don't want you to question it, Barry. They don't want you to question reality getting flipped upside down. You're just supposed to play along. Don't question any of it. Just play along. And then Kamala Harris, what is it? GovTrack put out a report that she's so far left, she's left Bernie Sanders. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but she's that far left.
She was voted the most liberal left-wing senator to the left of Bernie Sanders in the U.S. Senate.
Yes. I mean, so far left, Bernie Sanders had to get binoculars to see her as she was going off the cliff. I mean, that's how bad it is. And now she's wanting to run the country. Barry, if she gets into the White House at the next level, I hate to see what this country looks like. Every single black male, straight male in the country, make room. You have to need an extra cot in the prison cell. I can see her going after Jewish people and Christians, locking them up because you are a threat to society. I can see her doing it. She is the worst thing ever. And I'm not saying anything bad about her. I don't need to say anything personal about her. All we need to do is talk about her policies. Let's really quick, Barry, if I can.
Yes, sir.
Name one great, outstanding policy that Kamala Harris has done for the American people. And I've been asking this question from a lot of people here lately. And some people on X got highly triggered from that question. Why would you get triggered by that?
I agree.
Why would they get triggered? If I ask Kamala about Kamala Harris's policies, just name one that's been outstanding and positive.
Because you're asking a question that demands a factual, logical response, and they don't have anything, which is why they are running on save democracy from Donald Trump. That's the platform.
And the rights for
He's
women.
going to be a dictator. He's a fascist. He's a racist. He's an anti-Semite. He's a misogynist.
Yeah.
Vote for us. We're not those things.
Yeah, and they got triggered. They got completely triggered because there are no policies. She can't even run on policies. She doesn't have any. And you heard the story about her being a border czar.
That, by the way, that's disappearing off of MSNBC and everywhere else. They're not calling her that anymore.
No. And I'm willing to bet if you put a post on YouTube or Facebook, you know, calling her that, they will come back and say it's disinformation or it's misleading. Yeah. They will flag that post if you were to do that.
I agree with you. At the 2020 race, Kamala Harris ran for president, you might remember. And she dropped out because she wasn't getting any support from fellow Democrats. And they say she was basically in last place. What knocked her out, according to most press reports at the time, was this debate interaction between her and Tulsi Gabbard. I pulled that video.
Back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way. The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
When Senator Harris was the Attorney General for 8 years in the state of California, there were two of the most segregated school districts in the country, in Los Angeles and in San Francisco. And she did not, I didn't see a single solitary time she brought a case against them to desegregate them. Secondly, she also was in a situation where she had a police department when she was there that in fact was abusing people's rights. And the fact was that she, in fact, was told by her own people, that her own staff, that she should do something about and disclose to defense attorneys like me that you, in fact, have been, the police officer did something that did not give you information that would exculpate your client. She didn't do that. She never did it. And so what happened? Along came a federal judge and said, enough, enough, and he freed 1,000 of these people. If you doubt me, Google 1,000 prisoners freed, Kamala Harris.
After the debate, she quit, and she had 0 delegates. It's funny how history repeats itself. She's now, for all intents and purposes, going to be the Democrat nominee with 0 delegates voting for her. Now,
actually, is it 0 delegates still? Because I know Chuck Schumer came out and was saying
Well,
that the
no, wait a minute.
delegates.
They're
Okay.
endorsing her. They're saying they're going to pledge to her, but she hasn't received the vote of a single delegate. They're going
Right.
to
That comes
give
in the
her.
DNC, correct?
They're going to give her the delegates. She never
Yeah.
campaigned. She was never on the ballot. She never made a campaign speech. Nobody ever voted for her. In 2020, she campaigned like a maniac, and nobody voted for her.
Yeah.
And when she quit, she didn't have to release any delegates because she didn't have any. So now
You ever?
she's back,
Yeah.
and they gave it to her.
Yeah.
She was not.
You ever
elected.
see House of Cards?
A few times, yeah.
The series House of Cards? Do you remember what happened in season 2 at the last episode?
No.
Kevin Spacey, he became president without a single vote. And that's when he was standing in front of the camera and he with his ring. Same thing. He became president without a single vote being cast for him. It kind of sound familiar to you?
Yeah.
Just a little.
Just like now,
Same
baby.
thing. No
Just like
votes at all. No one voted for her. No one voted for her. Whether the rumor is that when Joe Biden was out there campaign trail and doing a primary and we got 14 million people to vote for Kamala Harris, or for Joe Biden, that's when everybody was supporting Kamala Harris. So let me help me understand, Barry, because in some states right now, it is too late to go back and change the name that's going to show up on the ballot. So does this mean that when we go into November and they cast a vote for Joe Biden, are they just going to say, well, it's Joe Biden's name, but we're just going to go ahead and transition that vote to Kamala Harris? So if that's the case,
it depends on the state. And you're right. It's a very smart comment you're making. There are state laws that have dates on the calendar in concrete.
Right.
And if you're not on the ballot by that date, you're not going to be in November on the ballot.
So
now
if they transfer
the secretaries of states in some of these cases in blue states are going to sue.
They have to
force her to get on the ballot.
Oh, they're going to sue to force it. Yeah.
They're going to.
But the only time they can do that, based to my understanding, based on the Constitution, is if the president actually passes away. That's not the case here. And Joe Biden can't just simply step down, because if he just simply stepped down, they're going to ask, what is the reason? Are you losing your mind? Who's running the country right now? Who's in charge? Who's making decisions? Who's in the background doing what? That would bring up another can of worms. So my question again, my second part to that question. So if they vote for Joe Biden and they say, well, we know that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris would have been attached to it, so we're just going to transfer these votes to Kamala Harris. What's to stop them saying, well, they didn't understand who they were voting for when they pulled the lever for Trump? We're just going to go ahead and transfer these over to Kamala Harris. I'm just asking the question here. If her name is legally not Joseph R. Biden, it is not.
We know that.
It is not. Legally, it's not. So when this document, you pull the lever for this document, because this is a legal document. That ballot is a legal document. And if someone go in and they put Joseph Biden on there, it doesn't say Kamala Harris. So you cannot, you cannot give it to her.
You're right. Nobody knows. This has never happened before. Your head's going to explode. Calm down. I agree with you.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you disagree with me. It's just
how are they going to pull it off? What are they going to do? They don't seem to be nervous about it, right?
No, they don't. A
minute ago, you talked about House of Cards. There was another show that is more in tune, honestly, with Kamala Harris, and it was called Veep, and it starred Julie Louis-Dreyfus. And it's startlingly weird how similar she is to the real character, Kamala Harris.
Words have many meanings, and sometimes instead of conveying our meaning, they can suggest other meanings.
When we talk about the children of the community, they are children of the community.
Well, we are the United States of America because we are united. And we are states.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Whatever we have in store cannot be known. The past was once the future. The future is, I should say, unknown.
We got to take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously.
Obesity is a serious disease, and it needs to be taken seriously.
You need to get to go and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home.
I hope that clarifies the issue, and this can be the last word on those words.
Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly, we're not.
No, that's right. And that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled times.
Which one is the comedian and which one is going to be president of the United States? Maybe.
In this case, the comedian did a lot better.
So so it's just I want to laugh, but it's really sad that we have somebody that looks like she's on a comedy show on Comedy Central, right?
Yeah.
Instead of this close to being president of the United States, Will Johnson.
It's the passage of time.
Unburdened by what has been.
In these Venn diagrams, because we love the Venn diagrams. What in the world?
Well, one of the world's richest men has just endorsed Donald Trump for president. I'm referring to Elon Musk. And he said the reason he got so fired up was Governor Newsom in California signed a bill. This is not a joke. I wish it was. That said that if a kid in school wants to transition to the opposite sex, the school will teach will teach the kid how to do it and keep that a secret from the parents. We'll keep it a secret from the parents. Musk said, that's it. I'm moving my companies out of California. That's the last straw. Here's what he said. This is the last straw. Because of this law and the many others that preceded it, attacking both families and companies, SpaceX will now move its headquarters from Hawthorne, California to Starbase, Texas. And his Boring Company and Twitter, X, has already moved or is in the process of moving. Yep. This is thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs, and he's already moving Tesla there.
Yep.
Because he can't stand the insanity that is California. And he said, I watched his interview, that's why he's endorsing Trump. He's just had it with the crazy train.
Yep. Actually, his Tesla facility is maybe 20 minutes from me. It's right kidding. Down the freeway. It's a mile plus long.
Is it open?
Yeah. And they're expanding it. He's building a GPU. He's building a major GPU. It's probably going to be used, I would imagine, for cryptocurrency. I'm only guessing, right? Because they use a lot of GPU processing power for crypto, and he's building a humongous one, largest one in the world, right down the street from me, basically. But you know what? He mentioned, he said that he's getting out of California when they said that they will separate your children, take your children away from you if you're not allowing the sick adults in the schools to pervert your children, to convince your children to be something other than the way God created them. And I don't blame them. I was living in California. I'm so thankful that I'm not living in California any longer. I couldn't stand it. I wouldn't be able to stand it, especially if I had little ones going to these public schools where they want to indoctrinate kids. And then the left, they get upset talking about how dare you Republicans try to ban books. Republicans are not trying to ban books. Republicans just don't want child pornography in schools. There is a difference. And again, they leave out
Seems
the key
reasonable.
details. Huh?
Seems reasonable.
Right? But the left, they leave out the key details. They don't tell what's in these books. And then they try to push the narrative, change the narrative, saying that it's all about, racism, teaching the kids what happened in the past, actual history. No, they're not trying to do that. These people are completely sick. When they say they're coming for your children, they're actually coming for the children. But good for Elon Musk. Getting Twitter out of there. Now, they're moving them to Texas. I have a slight problem. I don't have a problem with him moving to business to Texas. The problem that I have with him moving to business to Texas are the people that work in California moving to Texas.
You don't want them.
Yeah, they're like, well, why is Elon Musk leaving California? Why is he leaving California? I just don't understand why he's leaving California. And I want to keep my job, so I guess I'm going to have to move to Texas. And then when they get here, they want to change Texas into the same thing and for the same reason why Elon Musk just left California. They are unable. They're unable. They're not capable of comprehending the problems in California. And someone even put in the chat, where I forgot who it was. Someone just put in the chat not too long ago about it was Janice. Janice put in here, said Gavin Newsom, they said a different way in here. Gavin Newsom just did an executive order for the police to immediately clear out all homeless camps in California. Something is up.
That was announced early this morning. It's true.
Exactly. There's only one reason why he's trying to do that. Remember when the Chinese
they cleaned it up for Xi Jinping.
Well, he's trying to clean it up so he can clean his record up. So when it comes time for him to take charge, he can say, we never had homeless, or we clean up the homelessness. We have California the way the rest of the country should look. It's a total lie. It's a total lie.
There's some reason that you don't know, and I don't know why he's suddenly doing this after 7 years as governor.
Yeah. He's gearing up.
Yeah,
he's gearing up.
We're going to wrap it up with this. DEI is now gone from the world's largest software company. I can't believe this coming out of Microsoft. I'm going to show you what they announced a couple days ago. It's really quite shocking. It's great news, but it's a big surprise. I want to show you what they've announced. If I can get it on the screen for you. There it is. Microsoft has laid off their entire DEI team, citing its irrelevancy. Remember this, Microsoft, the largest software company in the world, DEI is now gone. They are following in the footsteps of other companies.
Wow.
Like Tractor Supply, if you remember, with their thousands of stores, they put in a DEI program. Their farmer clients who come there every week for feed for their animals said, okay, we're going to buy from somebody else. You don't represent our values anymore. The CEO came out a week later and go, oh, made a mistake. We're canceling the entire DEI program. But you know what's interesting? Bud Light keeps digging in deeper. Target and other stores, big chains, are still on the DEI program along with the American military. At some point, are they going to sacrifice money and stockholder value in perpetuity just to promote this weirdness, or are they going to get with the program and go, you know what, we're going to listen to our customers? What do you project?
I think at some point they're going to start listening to the customers unless they're ready to fold, unless they're ready to cave in the business. You know, these businesses that want to survive and want to thrive and stay around, they are going to get rid of the DEI. But Barry, to go along with this, did you see that what they're saying about DEI now? Because Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, and now they are saying that if you say DEI, it is equivalent to saying the N-word. You haven't heard this? Oh my
No.
goodness. Yes, that's what they're saying. They're actually saying it. It is equivalent to saying the N-word. And then, but Barry, who made up DEI? Who created it? No, I'm being dead serious with you. They are actually saying that if you say Kamala Harris connected with DEI, that you're actually saying the N-word. Let me remind you too, Kamala Harris is not even black. Okay, that's already been proven time and time again. But they're saying that you are actually saying the N-word now. You can't make it up.
I have
I
no
have to see the
explanation.
video on it. It's amazing.
Well, great show today as usual, buddy. We will see you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, same bat, you know what, crazy world. Until then, goodbye, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. We will see you next week. Bye for now.